Hey everyone, welcome back to Blurred Box. I'm Chloe.
I'm Haven.
I'm Pooja.
And I'm Sophie.
And this is our final episode of the season. And as you saw from our last senior special, we have one senior here today with us who we are sadly saying goodbye to as she's going off to UCLA and starting a new chapter outside of OHS and outside of Blurred Box. So today's episode is going to be a bit more of us just recapping on how we haven't done an episode just between the four of us in quite some time, reflecting on how our year has gone and kind of just saying a cute little goodbye to Haven and see where that goes.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So how have you guys been? How's it, been going for you guys for the last year?
Yeah. I've been honestly really good. It's been the first year of mine at online school, so this whole year has kind of been like exploring and figuring stuff out, and having you guys to look forward to has been a pretty big part of it. So
I guess for me, I'm actually kind of glad to put sophomore year behind me.
Most people are.
Yeah, it was a crazy year, and it's also just like in the middle of high school, and it's kind of a year that I feel like is slightly irrelevant in the long run, but it's okay. But even saying that, sophomore year has also been one of the highlights of my high school career, just because this was also my first year at OHS, and I met so many amazing people, including all of you. So I'm also very glad for this year.
Good. Yeah, same as with Sophie and Haven. I mean, this was my first year at OHS also, so
I forgot that was
so I forget that too.
Yeah, Chloe's like a veteran.
7 years, guys. 7 years.
Insane.
7 years.
Wow.
That's so long. But I love OHS. Like, my first year was pretty great. Like, I joined this club, which was obviously the highlight of my year, probably.
Obviously.
Better be.
And then, of course, I got to go to summer at Stanford and Splash, or Homecoming, and those were super fun events that I'm so happy I got to go to, especially since grad. And
yeah, I didn't see any of you at Splash.
Well, I didn't come.
I saw you.
Okay, well, maybe
I'm pretty sure,
didn't
like,
come.
in passing. But
yeah, but did we, like, hug?
We didn't have a conversation.
Yeah, then we didn't see each other.
Like, did we talk?
We didn't meet.
Yeah.
I just remember your gold sparkly outfit.
Oh,
so
yes,
cute.
honey. I was dared because the theme for the homecoming was like Area 51. So my sister was like, I'll give you $10 if you wear something else. Like, that's alien themed. And I'm like, okay, bet. So she gets me this like strapless silver like sequined jumpsuit to wear, and I was like, okay, if I'm gonna wear this, I may as well order like alien antennas off of Amazon.
That's why you were.
I loved it.
I was so confused. I
It
was
was
looking
perfect.
photos.
I figured, I was like, you know what, people can ask, or they don't, but I make $10 either way.
Pooja, what did you wear?
Me? What did I wear? I wore like just a simple like pink lace dress.
Good
It
move.
was comfy.
Yeah.
I didn't go with the whole theme, but I probably
like
should
safe.
have. Yeah.
Smart.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember at one point there were guys in the back who were like, doing guy things. So just like chucking pieces of paper at people across the room or something. And one of them flies across, and I'm wearing my antennas and I'm talking to people, and one of them flies across and boings against my antennas, and my whole head like reverberates, and I look over at them like eyes wide like a deer in headlights, and they look at me and they look terrified.
Like I hit the alien.
They're like, oh my god, I didn't.
The alien's angry.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
junior year was definitely stressful, but also super fun, especially since it was my first year at OHS. So I'm happy about senior year, but of course, college
application
for the first.
College applications are the stress is overhyped, I think, in my experience. It is stressful, but I think you guys will have a good time.
I feel like I'm going to enjoy college application season.
Really? I feel like Sophie is most likely to enjoy college apps. I would say that.
I like writing about myself. That sounds really bad, but I like writing personal memoirs. It's like one of my favorite pastimes.
Oh, really? A lot of them.
I find it so hard to write about myself. Like I can write about other people and about interviews for other people, but
Right.
not about myself. It's so weird.
I think
Pooja, have
it's
you
just
started? Because like for us, we have to
Ooh.
definitely start, or at least, you know, this summer, because we're going into the process.
I've started journaling a little bit, but I haven't officially started trying to write something about
That's
myself.
nice.
Yeah.
I started like freshman year. I just started a document that was just stuff that happened to me. So when senior year came, I could try to remember like times I'd overcome something when I was younger or something.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
sentences. Yeah.
I've
So
tried
actually-
writing like a couple sentences, and it's like a little tricky trying to figure out like what I want to write about, because there's so many things that I could write about, but it's like,
Yeah.
what do I actually want to focus on?
Wow,
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
are so. Oh, it's probably because you have a lot of like life stories. I'm like pretty like normal in that sense. I'm like,
Sophie, I know you have life stories too.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've told them to us.
You can see, that's why this podcast is great. Like you can go back and like look at things that you might have said during this podcast. That
Right.
could be
Yeah,
parts
the
of
like
like
first
Oh,
episode
wow.
versus now.
Yeah.
This is my document for my college application.
Yeah.
Have you guys
Yes.
ever seen Legally Blonde?
Yes,
Yes.
I
Yes, I
have.
love that movie.
Right.
I heard
It's
it
one of
was
my
filmed
favorite
in
movies.
UCLA.
And there's this. It was. It
yeah,
was.
they pretended it was Harvard.
I know. Or wait,
But-
no. Actually, they filmed at USC, our rival school. But
Really? I
Elle
thought it
Woods
was-
went to UCLA undergrad, so I'm holding on to that.
Okay.
But you know how she applied to law school with this video essay application?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you guys could do. You could just send in, you know, a recording of Blurred Box. Be like, I think I've said enough.
Yes.
Speaking of UCLA, sorry, Haven, what is like? What are you most excited about going there?
Sunshine. I live on the East Coast. I've lived in Connecticut my whole life, so I'm looking forward to, you know, being able to go outside year round, you know, in December and wear short sleeves. But I'm also just excited for the college experience, you know, to meet new people, to live with someone else that's not, you know, my sisters, but also to meet my professors and start getting more active, like in the professional field.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm not probably going to go into the workforce my first year there, but I'm excited to start meeting people and making connections that could, you know, help me out in the future and start making like real change. Because in high school is nice. I know that, I mean, this isn't to say to all our viewers out there that high schoolers can't make real change. But the kind of stuff that I'm interested in, like I'm going in as a public affairs major. So, you know, like institutional change, policy change, that stuff just tends to come faster and more quickly when you're at least, you know, in college or you have those connections. So I'm excited to start doing stuff.
Oh, that's
Have
awesome.
you met any of your college classmates yet? You know, on like Instagram.
Yeah, I've FaceTimed. I've picked out my roommate. So I have 2 roommates. FaceTimed them already. You know, we've talked, we've vibed, we're good. We all want to fish. So that's our big, you know,
Ooh,
uniting
that's
factor.
fun.
Yeah.
Fish.
But finding a roommate was honestly the most fun part of the process and more stressful in college applications by far, because everybody you'll go on a Facebook page and there's like 200 people posting the same generic thing. So everyone will say like, "Hi, I'm a laid back girl who loves to eat and wants a roommate who's down to go on adventures with me. I'm extroverted but also introverted. Reach out." And so
Honestly, that sounds like me.
right, exactly. It sounds so bland that it's like, huh, that's fine. It's like horoscopes, you know? It's like just vague enough, but just specific enough that it could be anyone, but it feels tailored to you. So you're talking to a lot of people and trying to figure out, you know, you have to say no to some people, you know, if they feel like you're getting along really well. It's like going through a dozen breakups and at the same time and and everything.
I never
but-
thought of it. I was just gonna like go with like hope for the best and just have them pick me. for
Yeah,
me,
Yeah.
but
some
I
people
feel
are
like-
choosing to do that. I talked to some people who are like, yeah, you're really nice. I'm just letting the random stuff do it for me though, because I don't want, you know,
Right.
that responsibility on my hands.
But
Did
that's
you have to fill out a form or something, or is it just on like the
Yeah.
Facebook page?
They have a housing form for you to fill out, so you can say
Okay.
like I want to be randomly assigned a roommate. This is for UCLA. I think usually for other colleges it's similar too.
Yeah.
Or you all have your student like housing code. So if you choose someone who you want to be roommates with, you just put in like, yep, we select each other. and
Sure.
it's happy. It's like summer
Cool.
camp.
Awesome.
Cool.
4-year-long summer camp.
Yeah, God, I hope they're good.
Yeah.
No, but like OHS seems to be like, our little bubble in a way, right? We're a very small school, a very small community, and just the way our school is structured, everything being virtually online, and we're always at home. There's a certain comfort level too. Is there, things that you're also scared of coming out of this little bubbled shelter going into UCLA?
Yes. I especially because UCLA is a public institution, so they have some massive classes, and lectures that are like 300 people, and everything. So I'm not intimidated by being in classes with other people. I'm a fairly, I don't know, extroverted but outgoing person. So I can deal with that. But I do like making connections with people, and I like, finding small groups of people and making friends and developing like close relationships. So I'm a little bit concerned that when you're in a kind of big area like this, and this was kind of the struggle that I just talked about with all the people just on Facebook, even, you're trying so many things at once that it's hard to create like a good connection with anyone, or with anything. So I'm also not good at prioritizing things. I tend to like bite off more than I can chew a lot of the time because I hate saying no. So I think that'll be something good, looking forward to college, looking forward to saying no more often, and doing only what's healthy for me, what's good for me. But I'm a little bit nervous that having so much there, I want to take advantage of it all. And I'm going to try to be conscious of that so that I can really invest myself in like a few places, a few groups, and like really develop meaningful relationships instead of just kind of skimming the surface of everything,
Yeah, I can see that change. Like, I know a lot of people say like online schooling, it's like hard to make good connections, but I find it kind of the opposite. Like, because with online schooling, you kind of have to initiate that. You have to reach out, you have to put in the effort. But because of that, you develop closer relationships. Maybe not as many, but I feel like with that, it comes, like, I feel like I've made pretty close friends through
There's
online
also
schooling.
a level of comfort I think that people feel online. I mean, it's not like we're anonymous or anything, but I think people kind of feel like there's a safety net.
That's
You
true.
live across the world, and it's like, okay, if I mess up, if you don't like me, then
it's
so
also like
We might
a
not see
great
each other.
ease. It's like a great ease with like clothing, because like you can't wear pajamas in class.
Yeah.
anymore
Oh,
at
honey, if you
UCLA.
think I'm not wearing pajamas to class, you're wrong.
Like, but for me, it's just like they only see like the top half of you, so they just throw on a sweatshirt.
I
and
will wear
that's
pants,
good.
probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
You can't be 100% sure, but most likely.
Most likely. I don't know where I'm going to be in 4 years after 4 years in LA. I don't know what that city does to you. I hope I'll still be wearing pants.
Like Sophie said, that there are certain skills that you hone in this particular environment, given the way things are and that comfort level that, Haven talked about. Skills like the communication is definitely quite important. Do you think there's like anything else besides that? Like the most valuable lesson, kind of like, how we asked in the last senior special, what's the most valuable lesson or things that you're going to take away from OHS that you feel you're going to bring to UCLA?
Yeah. That's a really good question because there's so many things to talk about.
Yeah.
But when I think about it, like, I think that the most important thing that OHS taught me, and it might sound a little bit dumb at first, but bear with me, is just the importance of intelligence in the people that I'm around. And that also sounds really snobby. But what I mean is just that OHS is a place where, it's corny, but it's cool to be smart. And it's been really nice to be in an environment where people aren't intimidated by other people, being passionate or being intelligent, and they encourage other people to kind of keep pursuing that. So I came in to OHS having like thinking I was smart, but way more often walking into a class and relying on like being friendly or making friends and stuff like that. Still want to do that at college, but OHS taught me that, in any conversation, I have something that's worth bringing to the table. And it also like challenged that, because I came to that realization. I was like, oh cool, like I can say stuff that's meaningful and people will respect me for it. But then I was around all these other smart people, and I was like, they're saying better things than me, they're smarter than me. And I had to get over that too, honestly, like only in the last few weeks of this year. But I realized that whatever I say, even if I don't think it's as eloquent as what other people were saying or as meaningful, I just kind of have to say it, either to help myself or, you know, maybe it helps someone else. I'm just kind of more comfortable putting myself out there intellectually.
Oh my
So,
God. Yeah, I completely relate to that, especially since
yeah.
I kind of like dropped into HSC my first year here, and I never took a philosophy course, and participation
It's a
is
learning
like
curve. Yeah.
is weighed pretty
Definitely.
a lot. But I remember in the beginning of the year, I was so afraid to like raise my hand because
Yeah.
it's just like I had ideas, but to like raise your hand and like speak in front of the entire class, I felt like I had to be perfect or like perfectly or like eloquently spoken or like articulate. But I felt like my thoughts were not coherent enough or like I didn't trust my intellect. But I don't know, throughout my experience here at OHS, I like that you said that it made you believe that it's like you're not intimidated by other people. You appreciate everyone and their intelligence, but you also learn to appreciate yourself. And
Yeah.
in HSC, like during the end of the class, like we kind of discussed about like our key takeaways from the class itself. And I remember I said that philosophy, like I never expected to take a philosophy course, especially being a STEM major myself, but by taking it, I challenged myself and I realized that I can trust my intellect and I can make good arguments as long as I give like confidence. I have confidence
Yeah.
within myself. And it also taught me that, you know, when it comes to academic knowledge and academic pursuits, there's a lot more things that are available in this world. You don't always have to be limited to one thing. Like I thought because I'm STEM focused, like why would I ever take a philosophy course? But because OHS's curriculum allowed me to take a philosophy course, I realized that, you know what? I realized that there's so much more that the world has to offer when it comes to academic knowledge.
Yeah, I agree with like exactly what you both said. You kind of learn to trust yourself and be confident that you have something that's worth bringing to the table, but you also feel confident that other people and your classmates won't judge you negatively for saying something or like sharing your perspective. I think that at OHS, everybody's willing to hear each other's perspectives. They're not just trying to share their own, but they're also wanting to listen to other people and try to get more knowledge for themselves so that they can share it later on, which is, it's really nice about OHS. It's kind of circular. Everything kind of goes around and you're passing information from one person to the other. And of course, like you have so many options to pursue different subjects in academics. You don't just have to pursue one thing, especially since philosophy is something that nobody really takes in high school. You take it if you are majoring in philosophy in college or something.
I was really surprised by OHS's because I didn't know that they were philosophy oriented, like those were their core classes going in.
Right.
But I was really pleasantly surprised at those because those classes also, and I think a reason why they may be core is because the impact that they had on me. Well, I only took the one, to be fair, TFRL, but they taught me to prioritize learning just for the sake of learning, which I had some degree of going in. You know, that's why I went to OHS, was because I was curious about stuff, but it was more like I was curious about developing myself in the specific fields that I was interested in, you know, like humanities, histories, English. But going there and, you know, being exposed to different philosophies and understanding the importance of just knowing how you should engage or can engage with the world around you made me more interested. And as like someone who's honestly like hated math all her life, made me a lot more interested in like, maybe when I go to college, I'll purposely take a math class or something like that so that I can try to learn it, you know, and say that I have that knowledge in my head. Instead of just being content to excel in one thing, it's made me want to kind of branch out and, you know, see what else is out there.
Right.
I kind of want to extend this sentiment to our podcast in general. Like, I guess before OHS and just, I never thought I would be on a podcast. I never
You and me both, Sophie.
Yeah. Like, I never thought that my thoughts were like important enough to be talked about, or like I never thought I would be on this platform. Within OHS, like I first learned that, you know what, I should trust my intellect, but also through this podcast, I learned that, you know what, I should be open to discussing my thoughts. And this is a great, great platform for me to do that.
Makes me so happy.
Yeah, so I really, really enjoyed this podcast throughout this year. Just wanted to mention that. It really helped me grow as a person.
I think it is good just to have, that's something that OHS did too, but just I've been grateful this senior year to have friends at the school, you know, which I consider all of you to be, just having people who you're able to have these conversations with and talk with. I found I was lacking in my life before this. You know, I had one or two friends who I could have a dinner with and talk, but never someone who would consistently like intellectually stimulate me.
Right.
And I really appreciate that now. So that's what I'm going to be looking forward to going to college now too, is trying to find those groups of people who will challenge you and support you at the same time.
Yeah,
and if you don't find anything, you still have us.
I got blurred bikes.
Yeah. You can always come back to us.
Exactly. Yeah. What I'm curious about actually is that, you know, for all of you have come in first year, right? I believe. So like for Haven, how do you think it's different coming in during senior year, or like share what is it like coming in first year to OHS at senior year versus like Pooja coming into OHS first year as a junior?
Honestly, my experience coming in first year as a senior was daunting at first because there are people who have, you know, been together since middle school. So it's the same as starting any school. It's like everyone knows each other, everyone has this history, and I felt like I was infringing on that at first. And towards the end, like I've had really great experiences with people. You know, some seniors have talked to me and they're like, you know, it's like you've been here the whole time. I'm like, well, that seems fake, but I appreciate the sentiment. But it's been helpful for me because I think it's been a good exercise for me to kind of come to conclusions on my own. Because when you come to any school, you know, after 4 years of people, there are cliques and there are rumors and there are stereotypes. And I had people within the first few weeks, you know, telling me who to talk to and who I shouldn't talk to. You know, one of the people I was told not to talk to is now my best friend turned boyfriend, you know. So I came to the conclusion that I should reach out to people on my own, and kind of figure out what my relationship with them would be like instead of relying on what other people's was. So I think that was one of the biggest problems with me coming in senior year, was that everyone had already kind of made up their minds about people. But it was nice to kind of be able to come in and be a fresh face and kind of remind some of those people to rethink their relationships too. So
No, yeah, for sure.
I don't know about Pooja though.
Yeah, what was it like for you, Pooja?
So for me, I would say it was a little tricky not knowing exactly what coming into OHS would be like, of course, because I didn't have, I guess when you come in early on, you kind of, everybody's in the same boat. Like nobody really knows what to expect or like what the process will be like. But I think junior year is kind of supposed to be one of the most stressful years because that's like when you're joining class, like trying to get as many extracurriculars in as possible. So figuring out like what I would be interested in, especially coming from a different school and like trying to join clubs that I think would actually support my interests and that I was genuinely interested in, not just trying to join it, was probably one of the hardest parts because I hadn't actually built any connections with any students yet, except for the people that I had made friends with at summer at Stanford. So I think kind of like Haven, trying to build connections and join clubs that I was interested in. But one of the positives I think that maybe Haven didn't get to utilize as much was the college counseling, because that comes into play junior year, and that's something that like juniors get to take advantage of. And I mean, of course, Haven probably got some of that her like beginning of senior year.
I was kind of dumb. I didn't reach out at all.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
You guys should definitely use that.
Yeah. So I think like that's probably one of the advantages of actually being able to come in junior year is that you nobody's really met their college counselors yet. So I was in the same boat with everyone in that point. So I think that was definitely one of the advantages, but making connections, like Haven said, is a little bit tricky at first, and you learn to navigate that as you go along.
I kind of came into OHS with a very different perspective. Like I think I live in the Bay Area, which is kind of highly populated when it comes to OHS students. So I actually knew some OHS students prior to coming into the school.
Lucky
So
girl.
that's how I actually found out about the school, and that's who I hung out with during meetups. So that was nice. But there were majority juniors, so
one of our like
bit
next door neighbors went to OHS, and that's why we applied. But she was a freshman.
Oh,
I know, it's just the dynamics there weren't.
See, coming
But
from
yeah.
Arkansas and looking at the family directory, I'm like the only one from Arkansas.
But yeah, so I was homeschooled prior to OHS, and especially in high school, I've been kind of accustomed to online learning. So I came into OHS not fully realizing how much community there was, but more using it as an outlet to get higher level courses, but also to join clubs, because as a homeschooler, you don't really have much clubs. You kind of have to make your own or just like hope for the best.
Yeah.
But what shocked me was that just grad, when I first got admitted, I went and I joined like the first day of the carnival, and I was like, I already had so much fun. And then
Aww.
the next meetup, same thing. And then in the beginning of school year, I was contacted by one of my closest friends here at OHS for the first time, and there's so much school community and there's so many great peers around me, and I didn't realize OHS offered me that. So
yeah, I was not expecting that. Did I tell you guys
grateful.
I didn't want to go to OHS? My mom made me apply. She made me go. I was like, no, I was such a brat about it. Honestly, but I just didn't see what I was gonna get from it, and now I do.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
do you have any specific advice for us? As a senior you are now?
Yeah.
For your underclassmen too?
Yeah. I can unload all my pseudo wisdom. I'd say on the topic of college applications, I did it kind of by myself. I had my family who I trust look over my essays, some other people, but majorly by myself. And if I could do something again, I wouldn't do that. I think it kind of takes a village. But I would say that when it comes, I think it was Pooja who was saying earlier, it's hard sometimes to choose what kind of stories you want to tell in those essays and stuff. Don't let other people really try to tell you what to write, because you will know what you want to say at the end of the day. And if it's between the story of the time you cut your own hair as a toddler versus the time you saved, I don't know, the Great Barrier Reef, but you care a lot more passionately about when you cut your hair, that's what I would say write about. And that's what all these college counselors will tell you too, because your writing and your storytelling is just better when it's something you care about. So that's very, it relates back to Sophie's, that was inspired by Sophie's previous story about cutting her own bangs.
Yeah, when I
plagiarized that.
I forgot I think it was 7, but I'm just guessing my age at this point. I know it was young.
It was last year, Sophie, be real.
But I was just super obsessed. Oh, sorry. I'm not gonna cut you off. You
no, I do love that story.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
That's just on college applications, and just know I got accepted some places I didn't think I would, rejected some places I didn't think I would, waitlisted to a ton, censored myself just in time. So just don't let it reflect on you, and it's not worth thinking about anything you could have done differently. It is what it is. And for underclassmen and just anyone going through high school, honestly, the best relationships that I made and the best experiences that I've had in high school came from just putting myself out there and talking to people. And that's the most generic, vanilla, bland advice you will get. But if it helps, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie We Bought a Zoo.
No,
which is also generic, vanilla, bland. Okay, great, perfect. Because there's a scene that's quoted from that movie where the dad talks about he was going to ask for his future wife's number or something like that. He was hitting on a girl at a coffee shop. But you can take this context anywhere, where he says all you need is 20 seconds of insane bravery to do something, and then your life has changed. And that was pretty much the rule for me throughout high school, was 20 seconds to write a Facebook post reaching out to start a farmer's market or something like that. I posted something on my town's Facebook page. I was does anyone want to do that? And I took 20 seconds of that and then got like 100 comments by the morning. And that was one of the things that like made me really active in my community throughout high school. 20 seconds just to reach out to someone in my class and ask if they wanted to go over that essay or something. Like really small stuff, but I highly recommend it.
I love
that quote. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And it's also
I'm
kind of
gonna
my
take in that.
mentality as well. It's just like, if
It's
you
a
don't
good way to
try
kind of
it,
psych yourself out.
you'll never know it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you have no chance.
Take the jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all of those combined into one.
Oh, that's
And it
awesome.
kind of just like highlights the fact that it only takes a very short amount of time to change your life.
Yeah,
You just
absolutely.
do it. So
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh yeah, definitely. This year has gone by in a flash. Like it's been very
No
fast.
kidding.
Not just for, I guess, Haven's senior year, but for all of us. I think what's good about us is that also, like, we have all varying levels here. I mean, I think we're just missing a freshman, but we have like sophomore year that was complete, junior year by me and Pooja, and then
Congratulations, you guys.
Oh, sorry, going off to Pooja?
Congratulations.
That's a new one.
So happy junior year is done.
Yeah.
I still have 2 more years to go.
Sophie, I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I would say don't be afraid of
so.
any of these grades. Sophomore year is the only one to be afraid of, but you're past that now. And to any freshmen listening, could be the best year of your life. Maybe.
Definitely.
Yeah. It was one of mine, so it really could be.
Right.
I'm excited for junior year though. I feel like I learned from sophomore year, and I'm gonna like do more stuff that I'm passionate about and more stuff that I'm interested about. So
yeah, that's
great.
great.
That's great.
I feel like sophomore year is a year to evaluate like what you want to do and what you care about. Junior year is a year to kind of do something about it and get out there. And then senior year is the time to kind of reevaluate what you learned from doing both those things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Doing
nice,
like your essays and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Essays
I'm
are
excited for you guys for senior year.
I'm kind of excited about the essay process, like nervous and excited, because maybe I'll be able to find something about myself that I didn't.
I learned a lot about myself.
Self-reflection and self-discovery through
I went back
memory.
and I rewrote some essays, and I would come to 5 different conclusions before I figured out what I actually wanted to say or what I was actually feeling. So maybe it's similar. Maybe your journaling is helping you, Pooja, or that'll help you get it out, because that was kind of the first time I've written down and expressed my feelings. So
yeah,
it's helpful.
And like all those 5 conclusions are probably true things about yourself. So it's
right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I would say emotions are hard to get out, at least for me.
I kind of love that you had 5
true emotions
conclusions.
are always and it's hard to try to. You're tempted, or I'm speaking like you. I was tempted during this process to try to assign value to everything. So I would say, like, I felt sad, and then try to figure out, okay, why is that important? Why is it significant? And I realized that sometimes emotions are just enough, like just to feel beaten down or empty, or then to feel like hopeful about the future and stuff like that. Like there shouldn't be okay, so what? That's good. These are my steps for the future. That's what they want to see. But it's also just enough, I think, to recognize what you were feeling, because that's really hard to pinpoint. So it's cool to look back at these events with hindsight and think about like what you are actually going through and what you actually learned from something that you thought you had already, figured everything out.
Yeah, that's really helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any like final words as well? I mean, I think we did this with the senior special last week, but do you have any final words for your OHS community and also your friends and, fellow seniors who are now going off on their own paths, on their own journeys?
Stuffing stuff inside the box.
Stuffing stuff inside my last blurred box for me to take to college.
Yeah, and then you can take it with college.
I just want to say, honestly, my year at OHS has been overwhelmingly positive, because the thing that surprised me the most when I went to my first meetup, when I started entering these classes as a total like stranger, everyone welcomed me with open arms. Like when I went to this meetup, there were people who I'd never seen even in classes before. I just seen their names on Instagram or something, and they would like really make an effort to bring me out to breakfast with them or to take them on a walk. And that meant a lot to me as someone who can seem like I'm going around or like, talking to people, but I'm was really lacking a place in the beginning of the school. So everyone at the school, I just want to thank for welcoming me, because I know that they didn't have to. And I know that sometimes it seems like it's more trouble than it's worth. And at times I probably am more trouble than I'm worth. But I want to thank everyone for that. And everyone just encouraged me to learn more always without putting me down. I could be in the same room with some people who are brilliant, like absolutely gifted. I'm not. I just like to learn. That's why I'm here. But they always respected what I had to say, and I really learned from them in that way. And I want to thank you guys too, because this podcast really has been such a great part of not just my senior year, but also my entire high school experience. Getting to talk about this stuff with you guys, meet you guys, figure out all the technical difficulties and talking to guests and dynamics and all of that. So I've really had a great time. And I'm thankful for it all. I'm looking forward to the future, but I will remember this.
Oh, we love you, Haven.
Yeah,
I love you guys too.
Damn, this makes it so much harder to say goodbye. But
yeah, I'm getting slightly emotional right now.
I know, I'm like, okay, I shouldn't care this much.
Who's cutting onions? Stop.
It's just allergies, I swear.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really the feeling's definitely reciprocated. Don't worry.
100%.
Yeah.
You're such a warm and friendly person, but you're also very intelligent in your own right. Like you're truly you challenge my thought process as well. Like you bring a lot to the table, and I can't wait to see all the accomplishments you make in your life. I'm sure you're gonna make an impact on the world.
Yeah, me too.
We'll be right behind you as you pave your path of success.
Yes, we'll be cheering.
Yeah, I'll see you all again at the UNHCR. We'll be paving the path for refugees.
I will be giving updates on this podcast. It's like, okay, so Haven did this amazing thing.
Yeah, you're like my mom on Facebook. Humble brags.
No, yeah. I guess with that being said, I think maybe this is a good way to end it then, or to,
Yeah, super happy note.
Thank you all.
Love it.
Thank you.
And we'll definitely miss you. I'm pretty sure everyone listening is gonna, have that little hole where Haven
used to be.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm on Instagram, haven.hunt.
You go follow her.
Stay tuned.
The plug. But yeah, I guess this is stay in touch. Definitely. We'll I think we plan to have Haven come back sometime in next
I
week.
would love that.
Update us with how UCLA is going, how you're impacting the world.
Okay. Time will tell.
She's like, don't put pressure on me. But yeah, I guess with that being said, thank you guys for listening to our season finale episode of Blurred Box with Chloe, Haven for the final time, and Pooja and Sophie.
If you like our show and want to know more, check us out on Anchor, Spotify, Apple or Google Podcasts, or leave us a review on iTunes. This is our season finale, so please stay tuned for future updates.
We'd love to hear your feedback, suggestions, and questions, which you can email to blurredbox88@gmail.com. And if you enjoy listening to our podcast, you can follow us on Instagram or Twitter at blurredbox for the latest updates.
And it's been super real, you guys. We hope you have a really great summer vacation. Get that rest before, next semester starts again. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening.